Hello.
Hello, Lotte.
Hi. I don't see a screen, but that's fine. I can just start my presentation. That's okay. So we're on, I guess. Merhaba and hoş geldiniz. I hope I said it correctly. My name is Lotte. I work at the DTU at the International Msc Admissions Office. And with me today, I have Onur, who's an international alumni of DTU, and together, hopefully, we'll be able to inspire you. So I will try to go by these slides one by one. Unfortunately, I don't see you right now, so I hope you can see me, and we'll work it out. Okay. Yeah, super. So Denmark and DTU, where are we? Well, Denmark, as you may know, is a very small country, situated on top of Germany, as I usually say, and bordering Sweden. And it's a very small country of 5 million inhabitants, or maybe 6. Denmark has 8 universities, and DTU is the only technical university in Denmark. We're situated about 15 kilometers north of Copenhagen. If you look at the larger map, you can see the red spots there. We have 4 campuses, and one is in Lyngby, and this is where you'll be studying if you choose to go to DTU. Some of the other red spots are different research facilities that we have spread around Denmark, so we say we are a nationwide university. Yep. So we'll talk about our education facilities. Sorry, I just have to look at my papers. DTU is a very high-ranked university, as you can see from these links. And this is very important when you have to choose where to go to do your master's degree, and especially when you have to pay for it. We're a research-based university, and we focus on technical and natural sciences. And we also have a business-oriented approach to our studies. We have 280 companies in the largest research area here in nearby DTU. It's primarily in clean tech and biotech, and that's the largest in Denmark, as I just said. You can see more rankings on our website. This is just a little bit I just picked out. Okay, so DTU has an international outreach. We have cooperations with a lot of universities, but these that are mentioned here are alliances with some of the best technical universities in the world. And in these alliances, we have research facilities, research and projects going on. We have joint degrees. I will talk about that a little later. And of course, we also have exchange agreements with these universities. And since DTU offers a lot of courses taught in English overall, we also are able to attract a lot of students to our campus. And right now, I think we have about 100 different nationalities on campus. And speaking about numbers, we have a student body of about 12,000. That may not seem like a lot, but remember that it's only an engineering university, so this may correspond to one of your faculties in your university. About 31% are female students. I guess it's very usual within the engineering and technical area. We're trying to have a more equal female or gender balance in general. Hopefully we will have to increase the number later. As you can see, it's very international. 1,700 students are on campus, and we have a Turkish community. I'm not sure how much or how many students we have, Onur, but we have at least 200 applications or maybe 100 applications every year from Turkish students. There's a good student-teacher ratio, so you'll always be able to get hold of your teacher, and we have an open door policy as well. So this means that you can go and talk to the teacher, knock on his or her door, and have a chat if you need that. And also, we have a very informal approach, so you would always call your teacher by his or her first name. We don't use the last names, rarely at least. 97% of international students would actually recommend DTU to their fellow students, and this is primarily because of our student environment and also the way we approach our studies. So what do we offer at DTU? Well, we have the full range, bachelor, master's, and PhD. Today I will just focus on the master's programs because this is what is important for you. We have 32 full degree programs. I will come back to what they are a little later. They're research-based, and you can boost them by adding an honors track, meaning that you will have an individual study plan, you need to go abroad, you will have your own tutor during the 2 years, and of course you have to maintain an academic high level throughout your studies, meaning good grades. You can also do a climate kick label for 8 of the programs. Currently we're talking about whether this should continue. I believe it will, but here we address real life climate change issues. And if you want to have this label, you also have an individual study plan and need to go abroad, have to attend seminars and lots of different, like a summer school. Sorry, I was just lost a bit. And of course, we also have a PhD and we have joint programs. I will also talk a little bit more about those later on. So this is a list of the programs. As you can see, they're spread around in a lot of areas. We also actually have one program that's not an engineering program. It's called technological specialization, technological entrepreneurship. So you don't need an engineering degree in order to enter this. It's fairly new and it's not on my screen here, but you can go to the website and take a look at this. But within all of these 32 programs, engineering programs, you also have what we call specialization study lines. So you can actually you can specialize even further. For example, in aquatic science and technology, you can specialize further within oceanography or fisheries. Or in sustainable energy, we have actually 8 study lines. So there you can specialize within energy savings or solar energy. So lots of opportunities actually for you to specialize even further, which is a very good and unique thing for DTU. As for the joint programs, we have a number. I would like to add, not add, but specify the Nordic 5 Tech program, which is between the best technical universities in the Nordic countries. You would, for example, spend 1 semester in KTH in Stockholm, 1 semester in Aalto in Finland, and then maybe 1 year in DTU, and end up in having a security and cloud computing program or something else. I would not go into details about this. I think you should take a look at our website and see the more specifics about these programs, but they're very interesting and actually gives you the best of the Nordic countries and the Nordic universities. So consider this. Okay, so why should you choose DTU? I mean, probably a lot of universities around the world have programs like we do, but what defines DTU? What defines us and our studies? Well, this is some of the things that we can offer you. As I said, a very high flexibility within designing your own study plan. And by this, I already mentioned something, but also that we have a 3-year program. And you have like 4 categories: a mandatory courses, technological specializations, your thesis, but then also a block of elective courses where you can choose more or less freely from DTU's course catalog. So this again helps you design your own program and gives you a really specific profile once you graduate from DTU. This is very unique for DTU. Sustainability in all the engineering programs, world-class research facilities. I can talk a little bit about this later on. A huge focus on innovation and startup companies, knowledge shared project-based learning, and this means that you will have a little more hands-on on these in our programs in general. It's not just sitting in a classroom, and it also means that you have to contribute being in class. There's a lot of group work going on as well. I already mentioned that we have about 100 different nationalities on campus. This is also teachers, so you will see it's a fairly international classroom you will enter. Again, the semester exchange we talked about. And of course, we also have an introduction week where we will take good care of you and make sure that you are well integrated when you start. A lot of social activities, obviously, but also information on how to plan your studies, because if you have this much flexibility, you can also get lost. So we are very happy to help you try to make sure you have the right track when you study at DTU. And there's a buddy system as well. So once you are here, you can have a buddy assigned. So as I said, world-class research. We have a number of excellence centers of excellence on campus. Go and check this out on our website. But also a lot of very nice research facilities. And of course, this attracts also a lot of professors to DTU, which students, of course, also can benefit from. Also, our library, which was just refurbished, it's on the left side with the orange and red colors. It was just refurbished a couple of years back. It gives you a lot of working space. Of course, also time to hang out in the basement. I think there is a air hockey table or whatever, but a lot of working space. And also, it's open 24/7. And this is also like an innovation lab where you can toss ideas around, meet with fellow students, and do a lot of projects. And I would also like to mention that we have something called Blue Dot projects. It's student-run projects. A student came up with an idea, had a professor helping, and other students filling in. For example, we have the DTU Robocop. We have DTU Roadrunners. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's some students building a car, and then they compete with other universities around the world to go the farthest as possible on, for example, 1 liter of biofuels. And DTU has actually won a lot of these competitions within the last at least 5-6 years. Could be solar decathlon, stuff like that. So if you have an idea and you can have somebody convince somebody to work with you on this, you are able to do a Blue Dot project. As I said, student innovation is a DNA of DTU. We have it cooperated in our studies, but also we help students and teachers actually translate their ideas into to new entrepreneur or enterprising businesses. Skylab is a place where you can actually go and do this, and these pictures are from Skylab. It's an innovation hub where you can try out your ideas, make a prototype, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then start over. We have workshops where you can ask for help, and it's also a way to attract companies getting interested in your idea. Skylab was just expanded by a digital lab as well, and we also have a food lab again where you can experiment within food and try to connect to industry as well. In 2019, Skylab generated 76 new startup projects, and 44 of them were actually by students. So there's a lot going on, and it's never empty. I mean, if you go there, there are always people there. Yes. So that was a lot about the study activities on DTU. Of course, something else is going on as well in your free time. A lot of sporting facilities. There's a running path around campus. There is volley, climbing, badminton, rugby actually also, even though we're not a rugby nation. But there's also a piano club, an aviation club. So you'll find lots of different ways to spend your time after hours. Also, you can consider joining in at PF, our student union, where they can help you throughout your studies, but they also arrange trips, and they also actually run the bars on DTU and the cafes. Or maybe ESN or BEST, I'm sure you've heard of those. And they're also represented on campus. Yeah, so I'm guessing you want to know how soon you can actually apply for DTU. And you can actually, on the 15th of November, we open our online application system for the intake in autumn 21. If you go to this website, dtu.dk, how to apply, then you will see these 3 easy steps that will help you along the way. What should you choose? Why should you choose it? Application deadlines, required documentation, information about what to pay, etc., and how to pay it. So a lot of hopefully useful information for you there. But you can also go to the website on graduate education and see the more specifics about the program, the prerequisites, what do you need to have in order to be able to apply for this program. Yeah, and again, as we talked about earlier on, the different study lines or specializations, so you can see what you can specialize within. And costs about living while studying, we already talked about it. Tuition fees are required for non-EU citizens. It's 15,000 euro per year, so it sums up to a total of 30,000 euros for 2 years. We do not take installments, so you'll have to pay it by semester. Of course, you're welcome to pay everything at once, but we actually accept the semester payments. We have some scholarships from the national or the Danish government. It's national scholarships. We only have about 30 per year, so it's, as you can imagine, it's highly competitive to apply for these, but that should not hold you back. Also, I'm aware of the Türk Eğitim Vakfı. I don't know if you got that, but it's a Turkish foundation that will pay full scholarships as far as I know, so they will both pay your living expenses, but also your tuition fees. I know that they have big ads in the larger newspapers in Turkey, but also go to their website and find more information. The Turkish government also has some scholarships. Unfortunately, the website is in Turkish, so I don't know much about it, but that's also a possibility for you. On DTU website, we also have some external scholarships, so it's not actually scholarships that we are involved in, so to speak, but if we know about them, we put them up on this website, so you can also take a look there. Cost of living per month depends on you, obviously, but between 800 and 1,500 euros per month, and this includes the accommodation. We have some examples on our website, so you can go and take a look on what you should count on spending. Accommodation is offered. We have some online, on-campus accommodation or nearby, or we also have some houses in Copenhagen, so it depends on you, what you prefer. I know the on-campus housing is between 370 and 660 euros per month. Go to the website bdtu.dk and see examples of what type of accommodation we have. To help you pay for all of this, you can also work as a student as a maximum of 20 hours per week, and this is due to the immigration rules, so you're not allowed to work more unless it's summer holidays, where you can work 37 hours per week. You will be informed about this once you receive your residence permit. So this was a lot of information in a very short time. So you should maybe consider joining DTU if you think out of the box, if you're innovative, if you want to do your studies in a different way, if you want hands-on learning and teaching and project-based learning, group work, share your own knowledge with other students, because this is also how we learn and how Danish students learn from others. Be a part of international community as well. Okay, so if this hasn't convinced you, maybe Onur can tell you more because he's an alumni. Onur, I will give the word to you. Yep. I'm still not able to see anything, but I hope you have your slides ready.
Yes. Can you see it now?
Nope, I don't see anything. Maybe I can hide the slides, yeah?
Yes, Onur Bey, görebiliyoruz sizin sunumunuzu. Lotte, if you're done with your presentation, you can disable it and we will be seeing the other parts.
Yeah, I'm not entirely, but that's fine. We can end it by this, and I can open it again maybe. Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm starting. All right.
Yep.
And hello everyone once more. And as Lotte said, my name is Onur, and I'm a DTU alumni. And I just want you to learn about DTU in Denmark also from like another perspective, which is a former student perspective. So I should maybe briefly introduce myself before starting my presentation. And yeah, I'm from Istanbul, and actually I did my bachelor in Istanbul Technical University as a civil engineer. And after finishing my degree in Istanbul, I just wanted to develop myself as much as possible, and I just I was just looking for international opportunities in different countries. And in that time, DTU took my attention, and actually DTU was the only university that I applied for my master degree, because it has got many opportunities that for students, and it has got really nice rankings in the World University rankings. So as I said, I just finished my degree. Like, I just finished this summer. Right now, I'm a DTU alumni, and I'm so glad that I chose DTU. And actually, today I'm just going to talk about why did I choose DTU, or why did I choose Denmark. So if I start with the Denmark before I go to the DTU, or like maybe I should say Copenhagen. Copenhagen is pretty small when you compare Istanbul. Like, by population, it's 20 times smaller than Istanbul, but it's really live city, and there's so much going on in the city all the time, and there's always something to see and do. So, like, generally when you talk about Denmark or Copenhagen, you always hear bad rumors about the bad weather. So I can see that, like, Copenhagen is maybe not the warmest city in the world, but like after a couple of weeks, I can say that easily, like, you just get used to weather, and you just enjoying the city. So the thing that I like about Copenhagen is, like, there's so many green parks in the city. Like, everywhere you go, there's always like a green area that you can chill. And actually, the city is also surrounded by all blue water. So actually, it's like really nice harmony between green and blue. And like, when the sun is shining outside, it's just so nice to just go to a park, play a game, or just chill with your friends. So as I said, the city is also pretty small when you compare Istanbul. That's why it's so easy to just bike everywhere. Like, you can almost bike to anywhere you want from one point to one point. So it's like so easy to transport from a place to another one, and it's also really enjoyable. It's really like a good opportunity to see the city when you just biking around.
Onur Bey, biliyorum. Türkçe olarak devam edebilirseniz katılımcılarınız için daha etkili olur diye düşünüyorum.
Tamam, Türkçe devam edeyim o zaman, İngilizce yapmıştık.
Teşekkürler.
Laura, I'm just gonna keep Turkish after this point. Maybe it's better for us. Yeah. Biraz eğitimden bahsedecek olursam DTU'nun eğitiminden. Loren'in de bahsettiği gibi DTU şu an dünya sıralamasında genelde hep en yukarıda yer alıyor ve bunun bir nedeni var. Derslerin çoğu küçük sınıflar halinde işleniyor. Çoğu dersler 10 veya 20 kişiden fazla değil. Tabii en başta okula girdiğinizde herkes zorunlu olan bazı dersler var. Bunlar genelde ilk dönem oluyor, amfi dersleri. Bundan sonraki dönemlerde dersleri seçmek tamamen size kalmış. Çok aşırı flexible bir eğitim sistemi var DTU'nun. Girdiğiniz bölümü seçtikten sonra ilk dönem genelde zorunlu dersler alıyorsunuz ve bundan sonra tamamen size kalmış. Yani okuduğunuz bölüm inşaat mühendisliği bile olsa, gidip elektrik mühendisliğinden, makine mühendisliğinden, istediğiniz her bölümden ders alıp istediğiniz konuda uzmanlaşabiliyorsunuz. Bu DTU'nun genelde her zaman en çok bahsettiği şey flexible eğitim sistemi. Ve buna ek olarak diyelim ilgilendiğiniz bir konu var, ilgilendiğiniz özel bir alan var ama bu konuda hiçbir ders yok. Eğer böyle bir konu olursa DTU'ya gidip başvurmanız yeterli oluyor. Mesela ben 2. döneminde özel bir ders almak istedim, müfredatta olmayan. Ve biz toplam 4 kişi DTU'ya başvurduk bu dersi almak için. DTU bize dersi yaklaşık bir ay içinde yeni bir program oluşturup bize ders açtı ve ben 5 kredimi tamamen kendi isteğimle 4 kişilik bir sınıfta verdim. Bu da DTU'nun pozitif yanlarından biri. Başka diyebileceğim şey, DTU'da genelde dönem boyu sürekli ödevler oluyor. DTU'nun eğitim sistemi sürekli assignment'larına yönelik bir eğitim sistemi. Yani dönem boyunca sizi çalışmak zorunda bırakıyor. Bir açıdan bu korkutucu gelebiliyor çoğu insan ama diğer bir açıdan bütün dönem boyunca sürekli bir assignment yaptığımız için genelde sınavların çoğu sınavlardan çok ödevler etkili. Ve bu yüzden sınav dönemi geldiğinde hiçbir öğrenci genelde stres olmuyor. Çünkü zaten bütün assignment'lardan puanlarımızı almış oluyoruz ve herkes sınavlara hazır olmuş oluyor. Bunun dışında profesörler genelde Danimarka'daki hep alanında en iyi olmuş insanlar. Loktel'in bahsettiği gibi Danimarka Dtu Danimarka'da tek teknik üniversite. Bu yüzden genelde profesörlerin hepsi alanındaki en yüksek eğitimleri tamamlamış insanlar ve hepsi ciddi anlamda çok yardımcı. Kapılar her zaman açık ve çok arkadaş ilişkileri var. Herkesle arkadaş gibiler, telefonlarını veriyorlar, konuşabiliyorsunuz istediğiniz gibi ve okul bittiğinde herhangi bir yardım istediğinizde aramanız yeterli, iş bulmada bile size yardım ediyorlar. Bu açıdan da profesörler ve Dtu çok iyi diyebilirim. Bunun dışında tahmin edeceğiniz gibi Dtu genelde bir mühendislik okulu, bu yüzden çok fazla teorik eğitim alıyoruz. Ama bunun yanında sürekli bütün teorik eğitimleri pratik eğitimle tamamlamaya çalışıyorlar. Fotoğraflarda gördüğünüz mesela ben rüzgar enerjisi okudum. Programın adı Wind Energy diye geçiyordu. Ve fotoğraflarda mesela görebileceğiniz gibi bir rüzgar türbini sahasına gittik ve rüzgar türbinine tırmandık. Bu aslında çok yapılabilecek bir olay değil. Bir tarifini yaptık. Eğlenceli ve öğretici bir aktiviteydi. Bunun dışında dediğim gibi Dtu şu an Danimarka'da tek teknik okul ve bu yüzden bütün büyük şirketler Dtu'nun ortak proje hazırlamak istiyor. Siz master'ınızın sonuna geldiğinde yaklaşık 5 ay boyunca bir tez yazıyorsunuz Dtu'da ve bu tezi yazma sırasında eğer isterseniz birçok şirkette çalışabiliyorsunuz. Ben mesela kendi tezimi yazarken okulda çok büyük bir fuar vardı. Bu fuarda gittim, bir firmayla konuştum. Yaklaşık 3 hafta konuştuk ve 3 hafta sonunda firmayla ortak bir proje yapmaya karar verdim ve yani tezimi yazarken aynı zamanda firmada çalışıyordum ve bu açıdan çok faydalı oldu. Hem endüstride bir çalışma fırsatım oldu, hem de aynı zamanda okulda tezimi yazdım. İki taraflı bir rapor hazırladım ve bu da CV için çok büyük bir artı. Çoğu okulda olmayan bir fırsat. Onun dışında söyleyebileceğim Dtu aşırı international bir okul. Çok fazla öğrenci var. Herkes farklı ülkelerden geliyor. Okula ilk başladığınızda master'a ilk başladığınız hafta Introduction Week diye geçiyor. Bu en üstte gördüğünüz fotoğraf, sol tarafta Introduction Week'ten bir fotoğraf. Genelde 20 kişilik bir gruplara ayrılıyorsunuz. 20 kişiden herkes farklı ülkelerden gelmiş oluyor. Bir hafta boyunca farklı küçük workshoplar yapıyorsunuz. Farklı küçük geziler yapılıyor. Herkes birbiriyle tanıştığına kaynaşsın diye. Ve bu çok büyük bir fırsat network için. Yani benim görüştüğüm arkadaşlarımın yarısı hala ilk hafta tanıştığım arkadaşlarım. Onun dışında diyebileceğim tekrar çok international bir üniversite. Her şey İngilizce oluyor okulda. Okulda herkes İngilizce konuşuyor. Bu çok büyük bir artı. Herkesin İngilizce bilmesi. Master programlarının neredeyse hepsi zaten tamamen İngilizce olduğu için dilden dolayı hiçbir şekilde dışta hissetmiyorsunuz. Çok rahat bir ortam yaratıyor. Onun dışında diyebileceğim şey, hava soğuk olsa, karlı ve yağmurlu olsa bile özellikle cumartesileri herkes dışarıda. Yapılacak çok aktivite var. Ya tabii ki iyi bir öğrenimin yanında öğrenci hayatını da güzel geçirmek gerekiyor. O yüzden Danimarka veya Kopenhag bu açıdan da iyi diyebilirim. Zaten fotoğraflardan da biraz fotoğraf koydum, buraya görebilirsiniz. Sanırım şu anlık başka diyeceğim bir şey yok. Slide'ın en sonunda bir soru sorma yapacağız. Bütün sorularınızı cevaplayacağız. Orada da başka bir sorunuz olsa tekrar yardımcı olabilirim. Şimdi Lotta tekrar devam edecek. Birkaç tane daha şeyler söyleyecek. Ondan sonra da soru cevaplama kısmına geçeceğiz sanırım. Lotte, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
But are you gonna share your screen or should I?
I will see if I can find the last slides.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, you can actually also see my notes now, but that's fine. Actually, if you want to get in touch with me, my information is here. I would like to offer a one-to-one meeting for some of you. I have a limited space though, but if you send me an email, I'm sure we can find out when that would be possible. Also, you can fill in the contact form if you want to know more about DTU. We have the e-study guide. Take a look at that or take a look at the website. Also, you can contact our student counselors as well. When you fill in the study form, they will answer, and then you can chat with them as well. Or if you're in the neighborhood, you can visit campus. We would like to show you our facilities and our student environment. So if you're nearby, our student counselors again would like to take you around campus. All right. So again, if you're interested, take a look at our social medias. And what else did I want to say? Now we have time for the Q&A. Teşekkür ederim. And let's talk now. So we have some questions. I have a question here called, after graduation, do you have a work permission? Yes and no. I mean, you were able to work during your studies, but you can also apply for establishment card, it's called, afterwards. Ooh, the sun is in my eyes. And this will allow you to work in Denmark after graduation. Onur, I don't know if you have applied for this.
I haven't.
You haven't yet?
No, I haven't yet. I'm just looking for something right now.
Okay. Have I been to Turkey? Is that a question for me? Yes, I've been to Istanbul and Ankara. Love both cities. I would have loved to go back now, but it's not possible, unfortunately. Do you have university scholarships for foreign students living in Turkey? I think we already answered this. Onur, there's a question in Turkish I don't understand.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Bu joint programlar, I'm just going to answer in Turkish. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Bu joint programlar içinde bütün kurallar aynı. Normal DTU programlarıyla sömestr başına ödeme yapıyorsunuz. Her sömestrin başında ödemeniz isteniyor. Diğer lisedeki diploma puanına bakılıyor mu? Yok, ben lise diplomasına bakılmıyor. Üniversite bachelor degree'sine bakılıyor. Tamamen master'a başvuracaksan Türkiye'deki üniversiteden aldığın puana bakılıyor. Lise diploma puanına bakılmıyor. Yes, got it. You can go.
Yeah, the coronavirus pandemic situation is, unfortunately, the numbers are increasing. We're trying to control it. We at the university offer courses here. We still want to maintain the students on campus, but I, for example, work from home because I have the option to do that. So we have some restrictions right now in Denmark. Do we have a representative in Turkey? No, we don't. We don't work with agents. So you would have to apply on your own and find your information yourself, but always write us an email and we'll be able to help you. How many students do we have in total? I don't know, but as I said, we do have a good number of applications every year and we admit students. I don't know if you have any number approximately, Onur?
I'm really not sure, but I mean, I can say that, like, at least, like, I studied wind energy and we were 3 people in 90 people, so actually it was a high ratio, I guess. And like when you eat in the canteen or something, like when you're eating food, like, again, it's not too much, but you can always hear some Turkish, so I think it's not like a super high ratio, but there's some Turkish students.
Good. Academic, cultural, sharing, scholarships. To be honest, I don't know. We don't offer any discount in the tuition fee, no, if that's the question.
And for Turkish faculty members, I haven't met anyone while I'm studying, but I know that we have some. I heard Turkish names, and actually there's a professor from ITU also, like from my previous university, but I just haven't met them, but we got some Turkish faculty members, I know.
There are definitely a lot of Turkish people in Denmark. I know. My next door neighbor is Turkish. Can we apply starting in summer? Well, we only have 2 intakes, so that would be winter or spring, depend on how you say, but we say winter intake, which is in February, and summer intake or autumn intake would be in September. Those are the intakes we have. Scholarship opportunities, I think we already did, but my Turkish Türk Eğitim Vakfı is definitely one option. And then we have the national scholarships, as I mentioned as well. Those you apply for when you apply for admission. You also send in a tuition fee waiver letter in which you explain why you should be the one. As I said, it's highly competitive, so we need to have some very specific reasons why you should have it and not your next door neighbor. Intensive English courses, no, we don't. So we require an English test results before you apply, or at least before you start your studies. If you can have it before you apply, that would be great, but we can also accept it a little later. Yes, it's definitely an advantage, Emre. If you study in Turkish, you do have to take either the TOEFL, IELTS, or CAE test and pass that. Do you have online 2+2 on Turkish universities? No, we don't have any joint degrees with Turkish universities. We have some partnering universities. I think Istanbul University of Technology and Boğaziçi University we have as partnering university, but that would be for exchange. Fees we talked about already as well, but I can continue. Repeat that it's 15,000 euros per year and 30,000 euros for 2 years. And as I said, we don't take installments, unfortunately, but you can pay one semester at a time. Transferring to university, I'm not sure I understand that question. Is that if you have already a master's degree from abroad and then you want to continue in DTU? That's not possible, unfortunately. Technical doctoral degrees, I don't know the GPA requirement for that.
I think it also depends on from degree to degree. I'm not sure, but I think it depends on from degree to degree. So you can just visit the website of DTU, and every different degree has a own requirements. So it depends on what you want to study, I guess.
I'm sure you're right. As for the MSc programs, when you want to enter that, it says on our website that you should have a 75% out of 100 score. Again, it varies on the different program. For the master's program, of course, we would like to have the best students because we are a highly ranked university. But I know that we have also admitted students that have a less GPA than 75%.
It's like I did, like when I was at the university degree, like almost like whole degrees was saying that the maximum degree is 4 in Turkey. So at least you need to have 3 to apply to DTU. But I also know that like some people get accepted a little lower than 3, so you can try to change, I guess.
Yeah. Please apply, because we cannot really say what it is. It depends on the head of studies. And also, I guess it depends on how many students for each program. Some programs are more attractive than others, obviously. Can we apply for a master program that is different than our bachelor's program? Yes, you can, but you should go to the website of the master's program that you want to apply for. Look at the prerequisites tab and see what specific background you should have. It should be written there. Acceptance rate. That's a difficult question. We do see a lot of applications. I would say maybe we admit, to be honest, I don't really know, because there's a big difference between how many apply, how many are admitted, and how many actually arrive, because it also depends on, can you afford the studies, etc. So I would say maybe we admit 50-60% of the students applying, but again, it depends on, it varies from year to year. Are the only engineering programs? Well, we have the one other program, as I talked about, the entrepreneurship, what is it called again? Technological entrepreneurship, I think, and you don't need to have an engineering degree entering this program, but I don't have the specifics of it. You need to go to the website. What are the prices for American citizens? It's the same price for all students. You just have to convert the rates. What are the requirements to enter engineering master's degree? Well, again, you have to go to the website specifically about the prerequisites for each program. But then we also write what you need to enclose of documentation when you apply for admission. It's typically It's typically a CV. It's a letter of statement of purpose. It's something we call pre-mapping, where we tell you what we want you to have of background, which courses you should have studied in order to be admitted for this program. Then you try to match it with your own. We need letters of recommendation, we need the language test, and of course your diploma and your transcript of records. Minimum GPA, I think we talked about this as well. The instructions are in English, not German. We speak Danish. But at master's level, all master's programs are taught in English. Is the language name? Yeah, German. Again, I know we're bordering Germany and I understand German, but we speak Danish. Onur, maybe you know some Danish now, right?
A little bit. It's a hard language, but I can understand some stuff.
But you would probably agree with me that it's not necessary to know Danish to live here.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best countries to study because, like, literally everyone can speak English. Maybe in 2 years, I just seen like 2-3 people who I cannot communicate in English, and I think it's a great plus. Wherever you go, whatever you do, they always understand you, and you always can like what you want. So, like, of course, I mean, if you know Danish, it's nice. If you learn, it's nice, but I don't think you need to know it if you live, if you study here.
No. We're actually taught English from first grade, or kids are taught from first grade. So I think everybody you will meet in the street will be able to speak English to you. And you should just approach us. We may seem a little shy and distant. Oh no, I'm sure you agree. But please do approach us. We would like to speak English to you. I see we have more questions here. Maybe I can. Can one defer admission if he or she can't afford the fees? Yes, you can. We would need you to reapply, but that's because we technically are not able to move your admission from one semester to another. So of course you can defer. How about European Union members and country students? Whoops, where did that? No, EU citizens do not pay, and that's to do with EU rules. We cannot charge EU citizens tuition fees, unfortunately. Piano scholarships? No, I've not heard of them. Ono, you want to say something?
No.
Can we work and have residence permit after? I think we already talked about this, but yes, you can apply for an establishment card when you have done your studies in DTU, and then it should be possible to apply for work while you're here. Can one defer? How many semesters? 2 semesters. It's 4 semesters, so 2 years. If that's the question, you can not defer, but you can extend your studies up to 1 year. It's not something you should plan to do because it's better to be in due time. But it is actually possible to extend it if you get into trouble or whatever, your thesis has to be extended or whatever. So it's a possibility to do that.
It's generally 4 semester. Like, you generally take classes for 3 semester, and the last semester is generally writing your thesis in the end.
Yeah. There's one also from Atahan in Turkish. He's asking for bachelor programs, but there's only one English bachelor program in DTU, and like he is asking, like, for bachelor program, do you need anything from the university exam in Turkey, or are you just looking for the high school grades? That I don't know, to be honest. You would need to go to the bachelor education website and look. There's this one program taught in English, and it's called General Engineering. So if you go to the website and look for this General Engineering, and then look for the prerequisites and also the documentation you need to do, then you can find the answer. I'm sorry, I don't know that. What should we do to apply for an exchange program? Yes, I'm sure there are requirements. You can find that information once you enter DTU. It's not something you do in the first semester because we need to see and promise our partners that you are a DTU student and you're doing well, because again, some of the partnering universities require a high GPA score. So that's something you should do once you have been admitted.
Yeah, but there's so many exchange programs. Like there's so many universities. Like I never heard like someone wants to go and couldn't go. I think most of the students, they just go to exchange if they really want. I'm pretty sure there are some requirements, but I'm just trying to say there's a high possibility that you can go if you want.
There is.
That's why experience.
Yeah. Will you switch to online education for this year? I hope not. That's definitely not the plan. We hope that we will be able to keep everybody on campus. I know some of the education now is online, but that's because we have to maintain the distance between the students to prevent the COVID-19 from spreading. So some of the courses are already taught online, but we hope that we will be able to keep everybody on campus. Are there any Turkish restaurants? Actually, we have a food truck that's Turkish. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like in the campus we got like small food trucks where you can get the street food, and like one of the street food truck is Turkish, where you can find some Turkish food, which is actually really good. It's a really good one.
Good.
And there are also like many Turkish restaurants around Copenhagen, so it's nice to have the options if you want.
Yeah. There's a question about accommodation. If you arranged it for yourself, you can do, but if you apply for accommodation through DTU accommodation office, they would find accommodation for you. What else does it say? If you can find a proper place for a budget, that's difficult to answer because again, it depends on how much money you can spend on it. I know it's not cheap to find accommodation. We're really trying to find cheap accommodation, but also proper accommodation, but it's difficult. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, like accommodation, like we got an accommodation office in DTU and they're really trying to put you a place, and generally I think they're trying to put everyone at least in their first semester to somewhere so you won't be homeless when you come to Denmark, but like they never like promise for something, but they're always trying to help. And yeah, I think like they always find something. Like when you're applying for the house, like when you're applying for a place, you also like fill a form and you can basically write there you want something more like budget. So they're trying to do their best to find you something cheap, but of course it's not 100% sure.
Yeah. There's a question about translating into the 7th grade scale. Is that the pre-mapping you're talking about? Maybe we ask you to enter all your courses and your home grading in this pre-mapping, and then there's a formula that translated into the 7th grade scale. The reason why we ask this is because the head of studies that has to evaluate your academic background, it's difficult for him or her to know every grading system in the world. So we try to have it translated into the 7th grade scale. We know it can be a little off, so they would rather look into your degree in math, your grade in math or in physics or whatever, and look at your local grading scale. If it says 10 and you have 7, then you're fairly good. But it's just to have an idea of where you are academically. So we ask the heads of studies not to go by the Danish grade because we know it can be a little off. I'm sorry, I don't know about PhD. You would have to go to the PhD website. There's a question here about this. There's a question about an undergraduate degree in physics. Does this have an effect on my application especially? No, we are only allowed actually to take the bachelor's degree into consideration when we evaluate. Of course, if you have qualifications within your master's, I'm sure the head of studies will look positive on this, but we are only allowed to look into your bachelor's degree and the courses you have there. Do you have any faculty let short some terms to Turkey? No, I don't think so. But again, you'd have to look on the website once you're here. Right now, I don't know.
As far as I know, like if you want an exchange program, you cannot go to your own country. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I remember.
I think you can go, but you probably won't get a scholarship. I think
Maybe
that's the way it works. Yeah. Yeah.
There was something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you have any faculty led? Okay. So, are there any questions we didn't answer? Any scholarships from students from Africa? Not specifically, no. We try to give the national scholarships out to everybody. We don't have any specific requirements for this. It just has to be the best student. But also we try to give the scholarships for a variation of nationalities as well. So no specific for Africa, but anybody can apply for these. What are the scholarships or the chances to get a scholarship? As I said, we only have 30, and this year we admitted probably maybe 300 non-EU. So as you see, the competition is tough, but then I also know that some students are able to pay for themselves. So it's a little difficult to say what the chances are. Also, we don't know the numbers of applications for the autumn intake. Actually, I can also say that the scholarships are only available in autumn. So if you should consider starting in spring 2022, you will not be able to apply for scholarships. It's only available in autumn, and it's set by the Ministry of Education, so we're not able to change that at all. And DTU doesn't have any scholarships available by ourselves. So yeah. Okay, I don't know if we have more questions. Residence permit we talked about. Any last questions? Oh, I see some up here. How about refugees? Do they pay any tuition fees? I think not, but again, I would need to look into this. I don't think refugees do pay, but I would need to see the documentation that it's a refugee. Are all Turkish bachelor diplomas acceptable? Well, it has to be, of course, from a recognized university. We check that when students apply. We have a huge database where we check, and we can also make, fraud check in this database. So as long as it's verifiable through this database, then everybody can apply, and every bachelor's degree will apply, as long as it's within science and engineering, because that's what our master's programs require. No, we don't ask for GRE and GMAT. It's not necessary in our university. I know a lot of American universities do, but we do not. Is there any option for accommodations to stay with a local family? Yes, I think that's still an option. We had at least a lot of families around DTU that would like to have an international student, and I think it's still an option, but you would have to ask that for the accommodation office to be more precise. Sports scholarships, no, unfortunately not. I know it's also something that would work in the US, but it doesn't work that way in Denmark, unfortunately. Yes. What else?
Doctor, you covered all the questions.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm following also, but I cannot see any unanswered question.
Okay, if you have questions after this, please write me. You have my email, so just send me an email, and hopefully I'll be able to answer this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It was very informative and very busy webinar session. We received many questions, and you answered all of them. So it was very great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Teşekkür ederim.
Onur ve size çok teşekkür ederiz sağladığınız bilgiler için. Is there anything you would like to add before we say goodbye?
No, I just hope that we will see a lot of Turkish students in Denmark. You contribute to the international environment, and we would very much like to see you on campus as well.
Thank you very much. Onur Bey, sizin eklemek istediğiniz bir şey var mıdır?
Yok, ben teşekkür ederim.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you very much again. It was very nice to welcome you at the IEFT Talks webinar. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.